Go ahead and get started with our unit on digital media and communication, which I'm really excited about because I think there is no better time for us to be talking about how we communicate with each other through social media and digital media than right now, seeing as how we're in a period of distance learning. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and just take a look at what digital media is. So, digital media is really any kind of device or media platform that you use to stay connected with other people. Definitely using the internet is a must. You really can't do a whole lot of anything without the internet anymore, whether that means you're using your Wi-Fi, you're using your data, so on and so forth, okay? So pretty much any device or media platform, that's going to be what digital media is. It's pretty self-explanatory. So why do we talk about media? What role does digital media play in our lives, okay? So, digital media is very much interpersonal. And if you don't remember what that means, interpersonal is when you have a conversation with one other person. It's really how you build your relationships with people. So, it's very much two-way. Digital media allows people to be interactive and to communicate and be really expressive, if we're being quite honest. And we'll talk about that here in a little bit, about the different creative outlets that digital media allows us to utilize. So the difference between digital media and traditional media is that traditional media is really your TV, your radio, even like the newspaper. Those things are all traditional media. And even though we can utilize some of those things using the internet, those are really not considered communication platforms because you're not communicating with another person. Whereas with digital media, it is a two-way interpersonal conversation that's engaging instead of just flat content like you see here in your notes, where it's just you listening to something and not really responding. So a couple of questions we're going to talk about are, how does this impact our lives? How does it impact our relationships? How does it impact the nation? And how do we connect with other people using digital media? So the first thing we're going to look at is digital media in our lives. As we all know, digital media and social media are great tools that we can utilize. I love my phone. I love Facebook, I love Instagram, I love Snapchat. I'm, in this time of social distancing, am slowly becoming addicted to TikTok. It is dumb, it is ridiculous, and I can't help but watch it. Digital media in our lives. You can learn a lot of different things from the internet. That's what it's there for. However, you need to make sure that you're utilizing your intelligence to make sure that what you're learning is truthful and factual. And we'll talk about that in a couple weeks. We'll talk about media biases and how to figure out what's real versus what's fake. Some other things is that school can be a lot more interesting when you do things online. And like we're seeing now with our distance learning experience, there are a lot of different tools that we can use. Some of the downsides of digital media are that sometimes digital activities can be a waste of time. Video games, not a big fan. But you do you. I know you guys like video games. And to be quite fair, you can build relationships with people utilizing video games. So there is a grain of truth and a little bit of goodness in everything that we do. Some people, however, end up spending more time on their phone or on their computer than they do in real life. And that's kind of where we see those like movie tropes where we see like the creepy old guy living in his mom's basement. When he's 40 years old because all of his friends live on the internet and not out in the real world. One of the other downsides is that sometimes you can receive messages that are unpleasant and inappropriate, which we kind of talked about last week in your journal entries and your discussion boards, and we'll talk more about in the upcoming weeks. So, digital media in our relationships. Again, digital media can be great for our communication and our relationships. It allows us to interact with each other using Snapchat, Twitter, Zoom. That's probably something you've become really familiar with since we've gone into social distancing mode. It's really easy to connect with 10 times more people than you would in your everyday life when you use an online platform. You're able to get to know people who maybe don't live so close to you. If you've ever gone to camp in a different state, or if you went on vacation where you met somebody and you made a... Kira, bless you. Sorry guys, my dog sneezed. Ew, Kira. Sorry. Anyway, so people who are far away, you get to know. But again, there are some downsides to our relationships that are built online. It's easy to misinterpret what people mean or what they say, and damaging information can spread online really, really, really quickly. And I'm sure you guys all have different stories about how you've seen that happen to people. So digital media in the US. Again, it's a great thing. People have access to a lot more information, but unfortunately, people also get really addicted to technology. They can become really lazy and depend on technology instead of using their critical thinking skills because they see something on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram and they're like, well, if it's on the internet, it must be true. When that's definitely not the case. You want to make sure that you're reading the news and not just watching clips and videos and stuff. Making sure that you're ensuring that the information that you're taking in is factual. So, our connections that we make online are fantastic. Again, you can connect with long-distance friends. You can reconnect with people who you maybe went to like elementary school with and haven't seen in 10 years. People are super into like 23andMe, Ancestry.com, and all that stuff. And so what they'll do is they'll kind of track back people who are their, maybe they're a fourth or fifth cousin somewhere in Uzbekistan, and they track down their cousins and they create that family relationship with them. One of the last things, and one of my personal favorites, is we get to connect with other creators, and I think that that's a really cool thing that the internet has offered to us. We get to find new artists, new musicians, writers, comedians, gamers, YouTubers, all kinds of things, guys. I think that we forget that just because people are creating entertainment doesn't make them artists and creators, when that's not the truth at all. We get really, really, really great art that comes out of the internet. Especially in college, I was really, really, really big into finding super underground indie music, and I was able to do that thanks to things like Spotify, and just be able to find really cool music that I couldn't hear on the radio and couldn't find elsewhere. And so same goes for writers, comedians, gamers, things like that. So a couple of stats about online usage. So 48% of kids who are ages 12 to 17 say that they've ridden with a driver who's been texting. 2.5 billion is the number of users on Facebook as of January 2020. So just FYI, there's about 7 billion people in the world. So that's roughly 30%-ish, a little bit less of the world's population is on Facebook, because you have to take into consideration people who don't have access to the internet. 4 out of 5 teens say that they fall asleep with their cell phones either on them or near their bed. It's most adults, too. I fall asleep with my phone right next to me. Totally guilty of that. 80% is the percentage of teens who think that their friends share way too much information online, and we'll talk a little bit about some of the impacts of that. Then you've got 500 million, which is the number of TikTok users as of January 2020. And then 1 out of 2 teens say that they've received an unsolicited sext online, which is another thing that we'll be talking about here pretty soon as well, because it's a very serious issue that's occurring not only in the US, but throughout the world. So we're going to just take a look at a couple of different social media sites. We're going to start with the big one here. We got Facebook. You can't talk about social media and not talk about Facebook. So Facebook was established in 2004. It was initially limited to university students. You had to have a university email address to be able to join Facebook. Since then, it has become fair game for pretty much anybody as long as you're over the age of 13. But it's really, really, really easy to lie about your age online. And so people who are under the age of 13 have been able to join Facebook before because they're not vetting anybody. They're not checking your social security card. They're not running a background check. If you say that you were born the year that you were born, they're going to believe you. As of 2018, about 2 million of 12 to 17-year-olds were on Facebook. 4.5 million of them were 18 to 24-year-olds, and 82% of college graduates are on Facebook. So that's where we're going to get into the two different generations and talk about generational gaps and social media. But Facebook is the big one. I'm on Facebook. Your mom's on Facebook. You're probably on Facebook. Your grandma's on Facebook. Everybody's on Facebook. Now, whether or not you're an active user is a totally different story. So we've got the things that millennials like. We've got Twitter and Instagram. I know that those are kind of slowly dying out with the youths. But you know what Twitter and Instagram are. We're just going to take a look at a couple of the different demographics here. There are 1 billion users on Instagram, which is about half as many that are on Facebook, which is interesting because Facebook actually now owns Instagram, and it has since 2012. However, 72% of teens do say that they use Instagram, so that one looks like it's probably going to be around for a while. Oh, I have that same information twice. Sorry about that. Oh, this one's all messed up, so just kind of ignore everything that's on that side. And then we've got Twitter. I know that you guys probably really don't use Twitter a whole lot. If you look over here, the median age of Twitter is now 40. I'm not even close to 40, but I am on Twitter. 12% of Americans say that they get their news from Twitter. Additionally, there are 6,000 tweets sent per second and 145 million active daily users. But you know as well as I do that deleting tweets does not make them gone forever. Not only are there screenshots and screen recordings that can happen, but guess what? Twitter also keeps a lasting record of everything that you've ever tweeted. But let's talk about the stuff that you guys really want to talk about. We've got Gen Z, we've got Snapchat and TikTok. I don't really know if that's the TikTok logo. I'm going to say it is. I know it looks like the iTunes logo, but we're going to go with it because that's what I came up with and that's what I could find. So Snapchat. You guys love Snapchat. I love Snapchat. 180 million people across the world love Snapchat. 98 million of those users alone are in the US. So it's very, very much used in the United States. So 73% of their users are roughly my age-ish, from 18 to 24, and then 47% are 25 to 29. However, 41% of teens refer to it as their favorite form of social media. Then 35% is Instagram, and I didn't even run the numbers on anything else. However, the usage is expected to drop 15% by 2023. So finally, we've got TikTok, which is, very well known to pretty much anybody with a cell phone. I'm sure you guys are using it all the time now that you've got nothing else to do other than be in school. But as you know, it's a social network for short form videos. Oh, I've got a lot of typos on this one. Sorry about that, guys. Again, 500 million users, 41% of whom are between the ages of 18 and 24, and 50% of their users are under the age of 34. According to a study that I found that I can't remember the name of, 90% of people who use TikTok use it at least, visit more than once a day, and the average time that they spend on it is 52 minutes. I find that really hard to believe because I can sit and spend an hour on TikTok and not even realize that I've been on it for that long. Okay. So that's really all we're going to talk about this week, guys. Just looking over different social media things. And I will post your assignments later this week. You're going to be doing another short little journal entry. Then you're going to be creating your own social media profile. So if you guys have any questions, let me know. You know how to contact me. Other than that, I will talk to y'all soon. Have a great day. Bye.